Microphone test. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Good evening. Welcome to the East Zone Community Meeting. My name is Kristen Allison. I'm the Public Information Officer for California Incident Management Team 1. Tonight, our acres have not moved. We're at 960,276 with 94% containment. First up, we're going to have our incident meteorologist, Eric Kurth.
Incident meteorologist Eric Kurth. Well, today is the first day of fall. Summer is over, and nights are going to get longer, and eventually we're going to get some cooler temperatures. I'm going to take a look at the graph over here, and actually we'll start with today. We were southwest winds gusting up to 24 miles an hour. We had a dry cold front that came through, brought some breezy winds, no precipitation, had some clouds. It's going to bring some cooler temperatures for tomorrow. Today we made it up into the mid-80s in some spots. Tomorrow we should be in the 70s across the fire. The big change is going to be a shift to northeast winds tomorrow. And we're going to see some lower humidity getting down into the teens. This isn't a strong northeast wind event. We're expecting gusts just to 18 miles an hour. So it'll mainly be just that directional change will be significant, and that's going to be pretty short-lived because by Friday we'll be southwest, which is really our typical direction, especially in the afternoon, and just with some light gusts of 50 miles an hour on Friday. Humidity will also be quite low, and that's going to stay low through into Sunday. But if we look into early next week, there's a change. We have a cool low pressure trough that's moving in, and it's going to bring some cooler temperatures. Also going to bring the potential for some precipitation, maybe late Monday into Tuesday. Not quite sure at this point how much rain we could see, but there is that potential for precipitation, and also getting some higher humidity levels as well. So we are starting to see that fall type weather starting early next week. Winds will get a little gustier, but with the humidity fairly high, that shouldn't have too much impact. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Next up, we'll have our fire behavior analyst, Patrick Doyle.
Good evening, folks. Patrick Doyle, Fire Behavior Analyst with California Incident Management Team 1. So, since last Sunday, you've probably noticed a significant decrease in the amount of smokes showing on the landscape. They're still out there. You're still having some interior smokes popping up. But one of the things was when that Sunday system cold front came through, it actually provided a couple days of really great nighttime humidity recovery. So with decrease in available fuels, a lot of the surface fuels through the most active area has been this area from Taylorsville, Indian Valley, heading to the east over to the escarpment. One of the things that's occurred in this time frame is it's been held in the footprint is those available fuels have been consuming due to the drought and low fuel moistures prior to that. And then with that night, when the humidities came way up, it actually helped stop some of those fuels that were available. So as you've seen in the last couple of days, a lot of decrease in fuel or smokes showing up on the landscape. And one of the things you're going to see is over the next couple of days is that's going to decrease where you're going to see them out there. One thing that is I'd like to point out, just because you can't see a smoke doesn't mean that in the interior that some of those stump holes, some of the heavy logs on the ground, some of the areas that have organic matter next to meadows or riparian areas, or some of those biomass landings is still not holding heat and continuing to consume. They will continue to do that until either the nighttime recovery comes down enough that it puts it out, or they're suppressed by firefighters in the area, or consumed. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So those nighttime recoveries will actually really help a lot, or it'll consume in that time frame. And with that, I think that's pretty much what I have for you. If you have any questions, please contact us. Let me know.
Thank you for that, Patrick. And again, if you do have questions, please feel free to put those in the chat. We'll be answering those through the evening. And again, as a reminder, we will be recording this, and it will be placed both on Facebook, INSEWeb, as well as the YouTube channel. Next up, we're going to have a pre-recorded video from our West Side Operations, Chance Traub.
Hello, my name is Chance Traub. I'm one of the operations section chiefs here on Team 14. I'm going to give you an operational update for the west zone of the Dixie fire. We're going to start down here by Branch 5, just to the east of Magalia. We have resources out there currently patrolling and mopping up that area off the Butte CAL FIRE unit. They're also engaging in suppression repair, so they're repairing any issues or damage that was done during the suppression activities. Everything's looking real good in there, no issues over the last week. We're going to move up to the north, so just west of Chester here, so it's Branch 13, Division J, K, and L in that Childs Meadow area. So continuing to mop up and patrol that area, ensuring that nothing is near the line that could cause us issues, and making sure that the fire stays within that perimeter. We also have folks out there scouting to look at suppression repair, so when we are able to move into that operation, we have a good plan as we move equipment in there. So we're going to go up to the north, so Division N and O, mainly in the park there for Lassen National Park, continuing to patrol and monitor that area, and also looking for areas that we can start suppression repair activities in. Right now we're just in the planning stages of that, but as we continue and there's no issues along the lines, we'll be able to move into those suppression repair activities. So moving up towards Old Station, Division Papa, everything's been looking really quiet in there. It's been really good. We have resources up and down the roads, hiking the dozer lines and hiking the hand line, making sure that there's no issues near the line. A lot of mop-ups is incurred in there, and everything's looking really good. We also have a group out on the highway beginning the suppression repair activities. We have some contingency line out there that was never needed, which is a good thing, but we have still we have to fix the damage that was done during those suppression activities, and so we got a group out there starting to work on that. They're also coming up with a game plan like the other divisions. When we do get equipment, we're going to be able to move that equipment in to start that repair process. So we're going to move up to the Branch 16, just north of Old Station. So Division Sierra in uniform. We do still have a little bit of red line up there, so that red line, there is hard line comprised of dozer line, roads, and some hand line in there. And that area has been mopped up. It's secure, but we still have a patrol in there with crews and engines to make sure that nothing gets over the line, and that we still have a good mop up in there, so we're not going to have any issues. For Division Whiskey, also in Branch 16, near the Bogard rest stop and the fire station there. We have crews in there. They're continuing to mop up and patrol that area. We also have a strong, large contingent of suppression repair activities going on. So if you see all these dozer lines here, we have heavy equipment, mainly excavators, starting to pull in those berms that the dozers caused and flattening those areas out, trying to repair those areas before any wind storm events come in, and that way there's no runoff issues. So that's looking good, and that's moving well ahead. We also have further down in Branch 16, Division Zulu. So Division Zulu is just north of Westwood there, and Allamore group. So those two groups, Division Zulu is still patrolling, and then the Almanor group and Branch 18 are working together to patrol that area and make sure that no issues do occur. We know there's a lot of houses there. Residents are back in those communities, and so we just want to make sure that we have good patrols, and we make sure that we can, provide that service, any of those service calls, if there are issues near the communities. We also have a large contingent ran by CAL FIRE in there, doing suppression repair on those lands. They're doing a really good job, and they've been at it for now about 2 weeks in there, returning those areas that were damaged back to a good, safe spot. So one, the environment can start healing, and then also so there's no issues as winter comes. Moving down and around towards Chester, we do have kind of the CAL FIRE contingent there working that's still within that Almanor group, and they're continuing to patrol, mop up any issues around some of those lake beds that have been kind of popping up in the peat bogs, and then also identifying any service calls and helping out with that community. That's your update. Thank you.
That was a very thorough briefing. Next up, we're going to have our operations, Carrie Gillen.
Carrie Gillan, Planning Ops for California Incident Management Team 1. As far as an operational update, I'm going to start with the portion down in Indian Creek. This portion from Indian Creek that goes up to Devil's Punch Bowl is one portion of line that continues to stay red. That portion of the incident is in a pretty steep and rugged portion of the fire. We haven't put that into black line and extra containment yet, just due to the portion of terrain and inaccessibility and how hard it is for crews to get in there and mop up and make sure that it's 300-400 feet depth on that portion. However, minimal smokes, minimal heat from Indian Creek all the way up to Devil's Punch Bowl. Once we get up on top Devil's Punch Bowl, all along Grizzly Ridge, resources have continued to mop up and patrol everything from Grizzly Ridge going out to Lake Davis. The portion going out to Lake Davis just past Turner Ridge, minimal smokes, minimal heats, going all the way out, continuing out towards Horton. We have continued suppression repair out in Horton, as well as Dixie Valley, continuing out towards Dixie Mountain. We do continue to patrol and mop up where appropriate. Everything within the Beckworth Complex fire scar, we've seen no change all the way up to 395. There are portions of 395 that there's interior heats as well as smokes. They've been no threat to the existing line. Everything coming along, kind of going to the northwest on 395. Resources continue to patrol and mop up while continuing suppression repair efforts. Everything within Black Mountain, we've seen no change, continuing all the way kind of back towards the existing Walker fire scar. We've had limited smokes. Everything's been well interior as we patrol and monitor the area. Everything within, the Walker fire scar, going all the way up towards Antelope Lake, limited change, pretty minimal smokes, well interior. Everything within Antelope Lake, a lot of good work as far as mop up throughout there, and resources do continue suppression repair going up to the northwest. Everything along 395, the Milford spot, resources continue to mop up any areas of concern or service calls that get called in all along the Milford spot, going up just towards Janesville. We have started utilizing resources to go up there for suppression repair. As we come back down towards Taylorsville, the portion of Indian Valley, all the way through Indian Valley, we do continue to get smokes. They have been well interior, no threat to the existing lines. We do have resources going out to those areas throughout the day as well as night shift. Everything within Indian Valley all the way out to Taylorsville has looked really good. A lot of mop-up efforts through the past couple weeks, as well as current day-to-day operations. Everything behind Taylorsville or just south of Taylorsville, we have started suppression repair on that portion of the incident. As we continue outside of Taylorsville, we kind of come down kind of closer to Quincy or closer to where the Butterfly Valley Botanical Area. Resources have been working in this area, patrolling and mopping up. We have started looking at some suppression repair and what we need to do as far as continuing out to the east. As we progress out towards Bucks Lake, we've got pretty extensive suppression repair in the Bucks Lake Wilderness, as well as Bucks Lake and this portion of the PCT where it goes from where it says draw point 259 just up to the north outside of Buck Valley, close to H30. Everything coming out towards Story, we continue to patrol and mop up if needed. This portion within the Chips fire scar, we did have about an acre and a half a few days ago. We do have resources that are continuing to patrol and mop up this portion as it continues to smoke. We've seen limited to no smokes and limited activity out there in the last 24 hours. We do continue to get smoke checks or service calls. We've seen multiple within Indian Falls, as well as some of the areas in Greenville, some smoke out towards Janesville. All of those smoke checks have been well interior, no threat to the existing line. We do continue to send resources out to mop up as well as monitor those to make sure there's no concerns. Thank you.
Thank you for that excellent rundown, Carrie. We did have a question come in that asked about some of the acres. I do actually have a couple of those for you that I can read out here. So for our protection acres, state lands, we have 132,033. Federal lands, 755,817. Park Service, 73,067 acres. Local, 424. DOD, 3. And BLM, 1,932. And those are approximates, and that is around actual protection acres. Next up, we have a short video by Forest Supervisor Deb Bumpus.
Good evening, everybody. This is Deb Bumpus. I'm agency administrator here on the west side of the incident and Forest Supervisor on the Lassen National Forest. Just wanted to provide you with a few updates. You may have heard these already, but we want to make sure that you hear them in case you came in on the call late. So we stand at 94% containment right now, and that means that the lines around the perimeter of the fire are getting mopped up. They're looking for any kind of smokes and putting those out 100 to 150 feet or more to the interior of the fire. We're down to 1,892 personnel. We are demobbing some personnel as we move from suppression into suppression repair. And so a different type of equipment is used for that. So we are changing the type of personnel that we have on the fire. Also, we're sitting at 963,276 acres. That has not grown in the past few nights. When it does grow, it just means there's some interior fires that are burning out green areas that did not burn initially. I also wanted to let you know that the forest tomorrow will have a reduced footprint to the closure for the Dixie fire. It will be on our website. You'll be able to take a look at that. We're trying to open up areas of the forest that we feel are safe for the public to get into. But be aware when you're out there that the roads may have snags. When we have winds in the afternoons, may easily blow over some dead trees. And so anything that we would have cleared that morning could have snags on it in the afternoon or in the evening. So be aware of that. And also know that because we are opening this does not mean that you have access to drive your vehicles across country off of the roads. We have been getting reports of people in the High Lakes area driving all over that area off the roads, and that is not what you should be doing. You should be staying on the roads. If you need to go to the lake, park your truck and walk down there. It's a beautiful walk, and just enjoy yourself. Don't need to drive everywhere. We will be patrolling these areas more often now that we're opening them, and it's for your own safety that you pay attention to the rules that we've set up. So thank you again. It's been a very long time on this fire. We appreciate this team for providing all this information to you all on a very regular basis. If you have any questions that you have, make sure you put those in the chat, and we'll try to get to those as soon as we can. Thank you, and have a good evening.
All right, our next speaker will be the Forest Supervisor for the Plumas National Forest, Chris Carlton.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Chris Carlton, Agency Administrator for the East Zone and Forest Supervisor here in the Plumas National Forest. Thanks, as always, for making time to join us and get some information on the Dixie fire. So we just heard from Deb talk a little bit about those numbers. You know, it's been a long time to get to 94% containment. I think we're all feeling really good about that. I do want us to remember that means we're still have 6% out there. There is still some red line on there. You know, they are aggressively working it like they have been for the entire incident. But, you know, and even that black line, you're hearing the mop up, that sort of thing. There are still hazards out there. There's still heat out there within that fire. And I know we all want to be mindful of that as we're going out and about. So as Deb said, and as we reduce these closures, we're doing our best to keep these closures as small and as minimal as possible, and continue to open them as soon as we feel it's safe to do so. But where we do have those closures, we ask your cooperation, because we do have firefighters out there continuing to work on mop up, or they're getting hazard trees cut, that sort of stuff. And in those areas within the black, again, just be careful out there. And I know a lot of y'all are out there hiking and hunting and just getting back into the forest. So enjoy and be safe. A couple other updates. You know, we're talking about suppression repair. We are going to be out there, and we're engaged in those conversations with our partners and our cooperators around where those priority areas are to get that repair done. You heard that we've got a little under 2,000 people still assigned to this fire. That's still a lot of resources out there. 960,000 acres. We're not going to be able to get out there and address everything immediately. We know that. We're going to continue to focus on those priority areas where there's concerns, hazard trees, high risks of erosion that could impact communities. Just like we do during suppression, protection of public safety communities is number one. It's the same thing as we go into suppression repair, making that your safety and your protection continue to be that top priority. And so we'll continue to keep you informed about that. And then the last thing, as far as information, we've been doing these community meetings quite a while. We've kind of cut back. I know we're getting a lot fewer folks watching them, and that's absolutely fine. That's great that we're in that place. We are committed to continuing to get good information out to you. And so please make sure if you got questions, concerns, put them in the chat. We want to be as flexible as possible. We are transitioning teams again. I think we've all lost count of how many teams this has been, but the Southern Area Gold team will be coming in to take over for Team 1. So as always, you'll see some new faces up there. But keep those comments coming. We'll make sure that new team gets up to speed real quickly, and we're continuing to get you the good information that you want. So thank you. Stay safe and have a good evening.
Thank you so much for that, Chris. Next, we're going to start our closing comments, and we have our Deputy IC, Curtis Coots.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. So first off, I'd like to take a moment and reflect on all the hard work that's been accomplished thus far on the Dixie fire with the current footprint. You know, Mother Nature, if you recall, really aided us and did her part back on September 10th when we received over the fire area about 1/4 of an inch in a lot of areas. And that really helped us with our control objectives and where we are today. You know, we have several tests that have been hit the helm of us with fire weather watches to fire weather warnings. And we've made it through that, through even all the red flag warnings. So what we've been up to is we've really been armoring the control lines daily with trying to continue to go deeper with our mop-up standards. And at the same time, we're trying to be safe with doing that to get that depth to really get us in a good spot. We continue to monitor, patrol, mop up, and backhaul equipment with supplies. And we've really started to shift our focus, as you've heard from Chris Carlton, the forest supervisor, and from operations into suppression repair. Currently, the incident that we've been doing some calculations with GIS is, we're looking at over 1,600 miles of dozer line, and thus far we've completed about 99 miles of that to date. And there's 92 miles of a hand line, and we've only completed 7 miles of that, but that's a hard 7 miles in this terrain. The east zone of the fire alone is 429,793 acres. And out of the total acreage that you keep hearing of 963,276 acres. There's still a lot of work to do that will require strategic operations and protection of infrastructure, watersheds, and cultural values. And that's all entailing with what we're talking about with post-fire restoration. We're preparing to time out. And we're going to transition, as Chris Carlton mentioned, with the Southern Area Type 2 Gold Team with Incident Commander Debbie Beard, and who will be taking the helm and carrying on the efforts with mop-up and suppression repair. Her team comes with the experience and depth and knowledge to continue where we've left off, so that's a great thing. Our incident management team, California Incident Management Team, wants to thank you for all the support and your local knowledge as we weaved our way through the Dixie fire. With that, I'd like to introduce Incident Commander Debbie Baird, who will be assuming command Friday morning. Take it away, Debbie.
Thank you, Curtis. Good evening. My name's Debbie Beard. I'm the Incident Commander of the Southern Area Gold Team. The Southern Area Gold Team is from the southeast portion of the country. We stretch everywhere from Virginia across the Gulf Coast over to Texas. So we're really appreciative of all of the great work that California Team 1 has done to set us up for success. We're going to be working with the Plumas and the Alaska National Forest over the next couple of weeks, and we look forward to serving you and continuing the great work that the California team has done. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Debbie. With that, this evening's community virtual meeting will be concluding, and we'll talk to you again soon.